So I'm going to Japan. Alright, so this is my first stop. This is LAX, so LAX first stop to Japan. It's gonna be a little weird because I haven't been out of the country in a while, but like, gosh, it feels so weird. I can't imagine.
Hi, this is me. I'm Michael, and I will take you on a journey through the Japan pictures, or whatever you like to call this video.
Okay, I just got off a very packed flight off of San Francisco, and San Francisco was, it's very cool and interesting, but I really had to use the bathroom after the flight because I drank too much coffee before I left. Okay, so I have arrived in Hawaii. Hawaii is honestly like very, very hot and humid, but at the same time, like it's so windy. But after a long flight, it's been good, so, and I definitely like the place, so.
I know it was hot, but I still had a long way to go. Particularly, I had an 8-hour flight from Hawaii to Haneda Airport. The plane was lovely. I got on a nice Pokemon plane, which the first meal I got was a snack that I could not eat because I was allergic to shellfish. Anyway, I finally reached Tokyo, and I had a long way to go from there.
Okay, so I finally got back into Tokyo, or I finally got into Tokyo, and it's been kind of stressful because I didn't know where I'm going, and that's kind of the issue that I kind of had, but I figured it out, and I actually got to my hotel very safe. It's nice and compact, and it's very, very comfortable, so I'm gonna have a good night's sleep after being awake for more than 24 hours of just flights. But yeah, see you tomorrow when I actually go travel the town by myself again. Okay, so it's the morning and I'm currently in the bathroom, and the bathroom here looks so nice, but there's just one problem. I am not used to anything like this. I mean, the toilet is nice, but apparently there's a bidet system. So, this is my breakfast. It's so much better than what I'm used to. This is probably the best food I've tasted in a while. And this is from a 7-Eleven.
This first day was packed. I went to explore the nature, and I walked around for a bit before visiting the Miraikan Museum. All of these pictures were taken at the museum. There are some cool things in there, and others maybe a little too cool.
A dog went to space. Oh, that's so cute.
Well, that was fun. Moving on, I went to go see the Statue of Liberty and later went to Tokyo Tower, two well-known attractions of Japan. Later on, I went to go see a park because of the sakura trees, but as I got there, I was like, well, where are they? But then I realized they were out of season because it's summer. Anyway, after the parks, I went to some temples and shrines and got tired enough to go back to my hotel room, eat, and sleep. The next day, I was outside the majority of the day. I started the day with a nice walk in the park of Shibuya, a very futuristic and tourist-heavy city. Now comes one of my favorite parts and of part one of my trip, the dogs, specifically Shibas. Very cute pictures of the dogs who worked particularly, as idols of a cafe. A lot of them were tired and sleeping, and others were very courageous, but they were very friendly dogs. After that, I went to go see the statue of a famous dog in Japan, the Hachiko statue in Shibuya Station, and directly after that, I went across the Shibuya crossing. Oh, and stopped at IKEA. Did you know IKEA sells beers? 'cause they do. Directly after IKEA, I made a quick park walk pit stop just before going back to my hotel. But I still had one more thing to do during the night. I went on top of the city with a place called Shibuya Sky. I saw each direction of the city and including Shibuya Crossing from above. It was a nice sighting. The third day was going to be a long one. I first went to Team Lab, a very trippy experience through the planets of the galaxy and being able to have a sensory trip. My all-time favorite reality trip and probably one of the most beautiful things that I have ever seen. Then, after all this, I went to the Ueno Zoo to view the animals. And now, here's a mini montage of all the animals that I have seen because there's so many animals. Now that montage is over, I had to rush to the other side of Tokyo to get to another hotel to meet with a group of like 70 plus people. Did I mention I was alone for the first part of my entire trip? Completely alone with no cell service. Yeah. Anyway, I met up with these people, but just to give you a little rundown, I first went to the Mirai-Ken Museum, then I went to go see the Statue of Liberty, not to forget the Tokyo Tower, and then I went to Shinjuku Garden, then I got tired and slept, and then the next day we went to another park, and later went to Takashita Street in Shibuya to visit the Shibas in a cafe, and then saw the statue of Hachiko at Shibuya Station, where I went to cross the Shibuya Crossing, and then I got tired and pushed myself to do Shibuya Sky to look at the city sky high. Next day I went to Team Labs and the Ueno Zoo, which finally leads me to this tour. During the trip, I had a few misfortunes along the way, meaning I had a slight wardrobe malfunction. But aside from that, I got to my hotel room and met up with some friends to go get dinner, but the places were very small for the group I was with. Now, keep in mind, I was with about 9 other people, but we split up into smaller groups multiple times to like 3v3, v4, and I went to a small local katsu restaurant with 3 other people, and it was so good. After that, it was about time to be on the way to a land very, very far away. It was pouring rain. We had to be in the pouring rain with our uniforms in like 90-degree weather. It was just really a training. And I don't know why, but I felt the slightest bit of unease. I just didn't know. But then I came across this. Never have I seen this in my entire life ever. Anyway, after many pictures and a long day of driving, we went to go to the hotel in Takayama, and I was very, very hungry. I went up to my hotel and essentially just threw my stuff down to run downstairs to get food from an awesome buffet. After the buffet, I went outside to go get some fresh air.
Hi everyone. Just wanted to say that things are going great in Japan. I really love it. And a lot of the time, I've just been trying to explore more of the nature side, and that's why I'm currently outside. It's so quiet that I just need to whisper, and I feel like that's a lot of the places in Japan is they're just very, very quiet. Well, anyway, here's my hotel. I don't know if you guys can see it, but in the background, there's the hotel. It is very, very cool. Although it's not what I expected. I thought it was going to be more in the city, but it turns out this place isn't really a city. Well, what I mean by that is it's not really too urban. It's more rural type area with a little urban twist. So
I don't know, but I needed that outside time. I stared at the sky for a while and started humming the tunes A Whole New World from Aladdin and Reflection from Mulan. Don't ask me why, I'm still wondering myself. I started thinking about LA, and my stomach had twists. I started thinking, was I really homesick after just 5 days in Japan? Anyway, the next day we went to the second shrine, but after that we went to a museum for viewing ancient times and history of the origin. It was a lot of walking, and I mean a lot. We then went back to the hotel, and I had food with new friends and friends that I knew from a while ago. We came up to the bus running to say goodbye. I'm actually dead serious, that actually happened. Something hit me pretty deep. Cue the B-roll. I was not getting the feeling of being homesick. It was something more drastic. I lost my job coming to Japan. My previous employer told me I had to make a choice being a part-time employee. I could stay and not go to Japan and keep my job. Or I could go to this trip and forfeit my position, resulting in termination. I did what I had to do to get out of that place. For a little background, they treated me poorly, accusing me, and even pushing their own work for me to do every single day. All in all, it was a feeling of solitude. I had no job to return to. I had nowhere to go. But that did not stop me. I knew that this trip, going to Japan, was going to make a change to my world, a change to my consciousness. The end of the tour was coming to a close. I feel the change. We saw wildlife and I saw water. I see a reflection. We stopped at the rest stop and I look into my Starbucks. I can't feel anything. I can't stop staring at the nature. I can't stop thinking about all the people from LA. Families, friends, my dogs. I can feel their hearts beating as one. One of the most beautiful feelings I can ever imagine. At the end of the tour, we stand seeing the Statue of Liberty, holding 70 plus people's hands over each other's heads to create a tunnel. Everyone ran through and split off. I did one thing. I went to go see myself one last time. I remembered all the times I looked in the reflection. I could only see ripples. No, but this time, I see myself. I am me. Now, this was the part of my journey where it was about halfway over, and I got to meet up with a friend's father, which I got to spend a lot of time with and learn more about the local side of Japan. Well, mainly in another tech district called Akihabara. I got to look around the city and eat some really good food that I never ever had before. Then obviously sleep. Next day, I got up and departed to the city of Kobe. Here, I have arrived in Kobe, a beautiful and somehow even hotter town in Japan. I went to go to the main and most longest event lasting a couple of days, going to the lair. It was a huge accomplishment. I even sat in a chair on the other side of the desk and took a very casual selfie. I also noticed that he has a hatch on his balcony. I ultimately wondered what was that for. Everyone, put your hands together for the one and only. Anyway, we went to have dinner together at a nice restaurant and got to catch up after a very, very long time. We went to go explore the city of Kyoto, a very old city with surprisingly good tofu. This is probably the best tofu I have ever tasted, and it was a lot of tofu, surrounded by beautiful nature and fish, specifically koi fish. We got to explore a nice shrine and garden and end up taking selfies so we can remember this moment. Then we went to a golden temple and saw a real temple made out of gold. But the heat was starting to get to us, so we went to the station, back to Kobe, and have very good dinner. We were looking forward to this trip for the longest time. We went to Universal Studios Japan, or USJ, and got to see a lot of the rides that gave us a trip down to memory lane to remember how much the rides are so similar, but they are different in a way. In this Universal Studios, they are very interactive and more immersive with the public. And we cannot forget a ride that I have not been on in California, the Super Mario Bros. Ride. I have never seen that ride before, but honestly, I thought we would be waiting longer than we have been, but we've only been waiting for about an hour when the queue time said 120 minutes, about 2 hours. That ride was so fun that we almost missed the bus back to Kobe.
We're trying to pick our shuttle. Goodbye, Universal.
Chinatown in Japan was our next stop. It was shopping day. Well, not really much to say, but it started to rain, so we took cover in a sushi restaurant where we were finally able to get some sushi from the motherland of sushi. Man, I did not think I had to say sushi so much in one sentence, but it was so good. Anyway, we later went to the Castle of the Samurai, where we climbed all the way up to the top and came all the way back down through the gates and back, the Himeji Castle. Nathan even held the samurai sword model. After that, we went back to Kobe to sleep to the final day in Kobe. We've arrived in the city of Osaka, where we got to see a very famous landmark in Japan, along with Spider-Man. We had lunch and then it started to pour rain, so we took cover in the station where it was the time. It was time to say goodbye. Okay, as you can see, I'm pretty sweaty right now, but I'm in the final hotel of my journey, and I have to say, like, this has been such an experience, and I'm very grateful to be able to have this experience, and it's just like, it's an interesting time, and I didn't think that I would make it this far. I did not think that I would be able to come here, and being given this opportunity to experience something so great. Just 3 parts of my journey. Just 3 parts of my journey. The first part was exploring the city by myself and, you know, just wandering around. I got lost a couple of times, I admit that, but like, the second part of the trip was doing the tour, and it really opened my eyes to something that I couldn't really experience, just being myself in America and seeing what the country was like, just aside from all like the advanced like city, just experiencing like Takayama and experiencing all the rest stops. It definitely led to an experience. And the third part of my journey
seeing my best friend after a year. It's been a wild ride, and I didn't think I would be able to see him because I had financial struggles throughout like the past few years. So being able to be standing in this hotel is already a blessing enough. And I can't thank you guys enough for being in this position right here, right now. Thank you guys so much for all the opportunities you've given me, and thank you for allowing me to be standing where I am today.
I did get to have a taste back into America by eating a burger, and I can say this. Once you go to Japan and eat the food, you will never feel like American food is better than Japan. You will literally feel like American food is prison food. Well, welcome to America. And welcome back to Los Angeles.